kind of wild that the NFL draft is about a week away. I gotta hurry up and pump out these final prospect rankings. So without further ado, here are my top 15 defensive interior, defensive tackles in the 2025 NFL draft. Stick around to the end because y'all know I like to talk about some of the guys who just missed the list. So let's go ahead and get into this sucker. Fortunately, I don't have enough time to do 15 different overlays for all these prospects. So you're still gonna get them for the top 10. But let's go over 11 through 15, starting with 15. Jordan Phillips out of Maryland. He's 6'2", 315 pounds, former 3-star recruit from the 2022 recruiting class. Initially went to Tennessee, spent a year there, decided to head to Maryland, and was a starter there for the last 2 seasons. Nice, short, well-built, fires out like a cannonball. Like legitimately, you go to the Shrine, and this dude was just firing out of his stance, getting good like pressure on the pocket or a good push, but you don't see that enough on tape. He's at least because he's got a stout body. He's able to eat space. He has plenty of snaps at nose tackle. He's a good run defender, but you don't see that pass rushing ability enough on tape. So you might think it might take a little bit more time to develop what you saw at the Shrine. So that's why he lands at 15, 5th round grade on him. Currently 21, so young. 14 is Vernon Broughton out of Texas. He's 6'5", 315 pounds. Dude's an animal, man. He's got incredible length, like 34-inch arms. He is an older prospect. He came from the 2020 recruiting class where he was a 4-star recruit and just kind of got lost in the shuffle of a very good defensive line there at Texas over the last few years, but this year really broke out. So incredible first step, really good length, great overall athleticism. The hand usage is pretty encouraging from him. The alignment versatility is really, really nice. However, doesn't like in the run game, I feel that he sometimes gets locked up and is unable to block shed and go really make a play. Like if he doesn't win instantly, if he actually gets stuck in engagement, he does have times, there are times where he struggles to break free. I'd like to see a little bit, especially with that length, a little bit better arm extension, kind of glance into the backfield and then read and react essentially. But more violence would be nice too. He can be a bit top heavy, but a very good prospect. CJ West out of Indiana, he's coming in at 13. A little bummed he didn't make my top 10 because I mean he's just a fun player in general. He's 6'1", 316 pounds. Another guy that stood out at the Shrine, but he was on people's radars going into the offseason draft process. Former 3-star recruit from the 2020 class. Nice stout build. Started his career at Kent State. Decided to transfer just this past year to Indiana. Had a phenomenal season. You like the movement skills. He's got some pop. He's got a decent toolbox of pass rush moves. Plays with violence in his hands, even if the length is a little less than desirable. Lower body can be a little light at times. Can he sustain as a run defender? He's just not like a nose tackle. He may be stout, maybe a little thick. I think he's a better penetrating 3-tech in my opinion. That's kind of where I like him. The hand placement, if it's not ideal, he doesn't have really the length to combat blockers. So that could be a little bit better, but phenomenal prospect. Deone Walker coming in at number 12 out of Kentucky, 6'7", 331 pounds. He's a big boy, but he is not your typical nose tackle. He's going to have to go to a stunt heavy scheme. I like the movement skills, very agile mover, but with that size doesn't necessarily dominate the way you would think he would. The big red flag on him right now is the back injury. It cost him some time this past season. Still made third team all SEC, but it was a nagging back injury. And what I've gathered from it, I'm just going to read it to y'all. There will always be concerns with guys this massive. However, the back is probably right up there with the knees as one of the worst injuries. It was persistent. You're hoping it's something that can be eased with just better technique, being a bit more flexible, but you won't know till you get them into the building. So depending on how teams view him, he could go anywhere from second to fourth round, in my opinion. But doesn't necessarily have the power of the anchor to sustain as a run defender. He's going to win as a guy that you're going to stunt. You're going to have moving around because he is nimble. I remember watching him at the Senior Bowl. I was like, golly, just stretch it. They hadn't even gotten into one-on-ones or team drills or anything. Just stretch it. And I turned to Hail Mary Sports, Alex. I was like, bro, this guy is so flexible. I can't bend this way. Golly gee. At 6'6", he's always going to struggle with, or 6'7", I should say, struggle with leverage, but he's a team leader. Like immediately after 1 year being with the Cats, in year 2, he was a team captain. Deadly chop move, light on his feet for 331. I think he's a good prospect. I don't really have a comp for him, if I'm going to be honest. It's kind of hard to think of one. Just was. And then at 11, Omar Norman Lott out of Tennessee, another guy a lot of people really, really like. He was a former 4-star recruit out of the 2020 recruiting class. He's coming at 6'2", 303 pounds. Started his career at Arizona, and that's actually where he had the most snaps in his career. I think it was back in, was it 2021, where he had 301 snaps. He did miss time with a lower body injury, and wildly enough, missing games was something he ended up doing in 2023, which, I mean, your mind could go to like, is that why he did not have such a big snap count? Because there was a concern with durability. It was reported he does have like a chronic knee issue. He was flagged at the combine for it. I don't know how high he'll go, but when it comes to what you see on the field as a pass rusher, he's among the elite of the elite. He had, I think, the best pass rush win rate in this defensive interior class. He's a great athlete at his size. He's strong. He gets good leverage. He moves exceptionally well. Just has the makings of a very scary pass rusher. However, in the run game, he does feel like the few times he was on the field for run defense, he feels a bit bullness in a China shop. He can get a little reckless, play a little out of control. He's a gap shooter, I think, for the most part. But he does have the frame and the length to be able to sustain and potentially two gap if you need him to. But that's more down the road. That's not what you're going to get immediately. What you get immediately is, for the most part, a DPR. And just like that, the overlays are back. Number 10, it's Joshua Farmer out of Florida State. Got him at 6'3", 314 pounds. He's currently 22 years of age, is currently 91. On my big board, former 4-star recruit out of the 2021 recruiting class. Redshirt his freshman year at Florida State, was primarily a backup in 2022, and then was a full-time starter in 2023. It was 2024 where you really saw him expand his game and really, really develop. But he's got prototypical size at that 6'3", 314. He's got good length, great length, with 35 and a quarter-inch arms. You just love to see it. Very powerful hands, by the way. Very, very powerful hands. Impressive just burst and suddenness to his game. He expanded his bag of pass rush moves in 2024. I know the overlay says pass rush, but hey, this is me doing it. There's going to be typos here and there. Apologies. Also, team captain last year, praised for his work ethic. So I get why he is a player a lot of people like as a fringe top 50 player. However, is he a perfect prospect? No, he's not. He does struggle with double teams versus the run. There are times he does have problems latching off or disengaging from engagement to make plays in the run game in general. He plays a little bit with a high pad level. Just being able to maintain leverage is a problem sometimes with him. And he's still developing. He is still developing when it comes to him being a pass rusher. Like, last season was a huge step for him. However, there is some work to be done. He's still a work in progress to me, but very high upside, big hands, great length. I went with the comp or the shades of Taquan Graham, who's solid depth player at this point of his career. And I think at the very least, he can be that. Maybe more so on passing downs, but obviously the ceiling is much higher than that. At number 9, it's Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. He's 6'5", 296 pounds. Currently 87th on my big board. He was a former 4-star recruit from the 2019 recruiting class. So yes, currently, or at least will be 24 at the start of his rookie season. Redshirted his freshman season at Nebraska. Did get 7 starts in 2020. Mind you, that was a shortened year because of the Rona. And then 4 starts in 2021, became the full-time starter in 2022. So he's been a full-time starter for the last 3 seasons, made 3rd team All Big Ten this past year. And he is long, or at least the frame is long at 6'5". I was kind of shocked he only had 32.5-inch arms. I thought they'd be closer to 33, but we're talking about like a difference of that. So kind of is what it is. But he is big. He is mean, barrel chested, just imposing looking player. And he plays with a nasty style, like very old school reminiscent, which is why I went with, I say more of an old school player. Old school for me, like back in my day when I was in high school, Michael Bennett. I see a little shades of that. Just incredibly powerful. Like every ounce of this man is just strong. He's tough. He can displace people. Plays with a good anchor. Very experienced. Has good alignment versatility. He played all over that Nebraska defensive line. However, for me, the athleticism he displayed at the combine didn't match up with what I saw on tape. He's very much a straight line athlete. So the 4.83, better than I expected, but that still kind of checks out. The broad jump, the vert, that all kind of checks out for me. But I thought the 3-cone and the shuttle were a little bit better than I expected. And I mean, I guess not much, but still, I don't see lateral ability with him. I just don't. He takes a minute to get stopped and be able to change his direction, which kind of limited him in pursuit. And that's not to say he doesn't have that urgency to play whistle to whistle or that motor, because he does. It's just it takes him a minute to be able to change direction, and it led to him not being able to get to ball carriers if they were able to get to the outside or even quarterbacks. Does play with a high pad level. He's 6'5", kind of expected. I think he's still a work in progress when it comes to his pass rush moves. Had a win rate of 10.1% this past season, and does need to do a better job of finishing plays in the backfield. I believe his missed tackle rate over the last 3 seasons is around 18%, but I think he's a very good player. Before we talk more prospects, gotta give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. If you download the app and sign up using promo code BROSHMO, they will match your first deposit up to $1,000 reduced. It's the best place to play weekly best ball, or my favorite, higher or lower on player stats. Baseball season's back, so hey, you want to get on that action, or maybe basketball. Well, they do all kinds of sports, maybe esports if you follow that. But it's a fun way to play, and if you do sign up, don't forget it's promo code BROSHMO. But as always, please play responsibly and play within your means. Coming in at number 8, it's TJ Sanders out of South Carolina. He's 6'4", 305 pounds, 63rd on my current big board. Former 3-star recruit from the 2021 recruiting class. He played both tight end and defensive line in high school. Redshirted his freshman year at South Carolina, was a reserve in 2022, was a good big part of the rotation in 2023. Actually had 7 starts that year as well, and then 9 starts this past season. And he does a lot. This is why Quentin Jefferson was an ideal comp. Wasn't my initial comp. I saw Trevor Sikkema had it as a comp, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because I think Sanders is someone you could align in a variety of different places along the defensive line and feel okay about it. So he plays stout, he plays low, He is ridiculously strong. Better anchor than you would expect at 305. It's pretty darn solid. He plays with heavy hands. He's very strong at the point of attack. There is a leg drive when he meets you at the point of attack, and I love that. If you just keep churning them legs through contact, I say this in every prospect video because it's true. I feel like if you have a leg drive through contact, you keep those bad boys churning, it's great regardless of position. Just is. The Gamecocks lined him up kind of around 5 tech, 4 inside tech, but he could be a penetrating 3. He has some work at nose tackle. He played 35 snaps in the A gap this past season. He kind of, again, he has that lower center of gravity. He plays strong enough. He's stout. He can do that, just not full time. Like if you want to maybe mix up the looks. Very sudden. I was kind of shocked that he looked. He's more explosive than I thought. I watched the tape. I didn't think he had like an incredible first step. It was fine. Looked much better at the Senior Bowl, and quite frankly, kind of tested out better. So maybe that's just something on me, but I felt that he was more of a sudden player than he was an explosive player. Does a good job setting up his pass rush moves. The movement skills are really good. Plays with a really big motor. But when it comes to the run game, he definitely prefers to be more of a gap shooter than actual 2-gapper, and I think that's fine. Could be a better finisher in the backfield. His missed tackle rate this past season, 11.3 was that's actually pretty solid, but I felt like he left some plays in the backfield, some negative plays in the backfield there on tape. But I like him quite a bit. We're starting to get to the meat and the potatoes of who are the high-end guys in this class. Here at number 7, it's Alfred Collins out of Texas. He's 6'6", 332 pounds, 54th on my big board. Former 5-star recruit out of the 2020 recruiting class. Kind of makes sense when you just look at the frame. You look at the length, 35-inch arms. Golly. But since he went to Texas, kind of had to wait his turn to be a starter. Didn't really see more than 5 starts till 2023, and even then he was still a part of the rotation because they had Byron Murphy, they had Devondre Sweat there. However, this season started all 16 games. He's got a long and powerful frame. He is probably the 2nd or 3rd best run defender in this class. He's very stout at the point of attack. He does a good job of stacking and shedding when he can read and react to the backfield, and being able to get his arm either in rush lanes or just making plays on the ball carrier. Like he has that length to be able to go grab and pull down. Grab and reach is what they call it, or reach and grab, excuse me. Big motor, alignment versatility. However, I think ideally you're going to play him as a nose tackle, either somewhere around the A gap, 1 tech, 0 tech. He was actually a better pass rusher from there as well. His pass rush win rate outside of the 1 tech, not nearly as good as it was at nose tackle, which is why his pass rush win rate not necessarily as high as some of the other guys that are going to be on this list at 7.3. But again, you have to look at everything in nuance and context and be like, okay, he's really good when you just throw him slap dab in the middle. He has a little shimmy as a pass rusher, and I like that and I appreciate that. 1 lone season as a starter, though he has seen a quality amount of snaps over the course of his career, so not too worried about that. Very tall player, so leverage is always going to be a problem. It was much better this season. I saw an interview where he was talking about, yeah, I understood I need to do a better job of not just being able to sink my hips and play low, but to remain low through the rep. But at 6'6", that's always going to be a struggle. So that's something I'm just going to keep a lookout for. Does need to continue to develop counters when it comes to what happens after his initial pass rush move. But I think there is a solid toolbox in progress there with Alfred Collins. And at the very least, I think he's going to be a phenomenal run defender. That's why Grover Stewart was kind of the first player that popped into mind. You like the NFL draft. Matter of fact, you love the NFL draft, which means you're going to love my draft guide. If you want to know every player your team drafts or even signs as an undrafted free agent, then this is for you. My draft guide updates every day, and you'll be able to see those updates in real time as I add new evals and player backgrounds. It'll have analytics from this year and last year. It'll have the pro day and combine numbers. It'll even have my notes from the senior and Shrine Bowl. It's a one-time purchase of $30 via PayPal, Venmo, or the Cash App. You can check out the pinned comment or the description if you want to follow those links. And when you do purchase it, please be sure to include your email because it is a Google spreadsheet. So I'm going to require your email. Don't make me hunt it down because I will hunt you down. I will find you and I'll make sure you get your money's worth. Anywho, thanks for supporting the channel. At number 6 is Darius Alexander out of Toledo. He's 6'4", 305 pounds. He's 51st on my big board, former 3-star recruit out of the 2019 recruiting class. Redshirted his freshman season at Toledo and didn't become a true starter until 2023, or at least a full-time starter. He was third team All-MAC in 2023 and then second team All-MAC in 2024. You might remember him from the bowl game against Pittsburgh where he had the thick 6. That's right. Dropped back, grabbed an interception, and took it to the house. He has got a very powerful frame. Long arms, 34-inch arms, powerful frame, packs up pop with his hands. Very strong upper body, but he's also got a very strong lower half. Just, I think in general, good full body strength, though sometimes he is a bit more reliant on his upper body and could get a little top heavy, which leads to his anchor being a bit inconsistent. And if you're going to use him against the run, I think he's at his best penetrating. Just does a good job with his length. He does a good, he's just block sheds exceptionally quickly. So while he played a versatile role on the defensive line for the Rockets there, I think he might be more ideally a penetrating 3 tech. It's kind of where I have him at. He's still adding to that pass rush toolbox and plan. He is someone who tries a variety of different things, and it's just not everything has polished. David Onyemata, talking about another freak there who I feel like with him, the game came together relatively not soon in his rookie year, but by the end of his rookie contract, it was like, oh, this is a hell of a good player. That's why the Saints initially brought him back. So, or at least with Darius Alexander, I feel like he can be someone that good rotation guy to start with, maybe finds himself being a starter by the end of his rookie contract. And now we get to the top 5, and in my opinion, the top 5, this is kind of their own separate tier. These are the best defensive players in the class, defensive tackles in the class. We're going to start with Talik Williams at Ohio State. He's 6'3", 334 pounds, currently 40th on my big board. He did run his 40, but he didn't finish his 40. He pulled up his hammy, but again, didn't sound serious. He's going to be A-okay. Not worried about it. So I do have a 10-yard split on him, but I don't have the 40 because he didn't finish it. So former 4-star recruit out of the 2021 recruiting class, was a significant rotation player by 2022, and then a full-time starter by 2023, where he was second team All Big 12, and then this past season, third team All Big 10. I say Big 12, I meant Big 10. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Did miss 3 games this past season with an ankle injury. Again, not that serious. He's a thick boy, but he plays with light feet, moves surprisingly really well, and moves all around the line of scrimmage, especially at that size. It's just kind of redonkulous, and he does a good job of allowing for his feet to keep him upright and balanced in engagement. Probably the best run defender in this class. Very sturdy anchor, but he reads and reacts quickly. Just does a good job to either seal off run lanes or make his way to the ball carrier. Just very disciplined in that regard. Does a good job of finding and pursuing ball carriers. He will try to make plays out along the sideline. Sometimes he gets there, sometimes he doesn't. It is what it is, but he plays with good leverage and good power. But there are times where he does struggle to keep that leverage because he doesn't have like ideal length, which isn't fair. It's fine length, 32-inch arms, but he is on the shorter end of the spectrum when it comes to arm length for the defensive interior. I wish we could see more violence from his game, and maybe it's just a defensive tackle thing at Ohio State, because I always feel like these players are underdeveloped as pass rushers, which that's kind of also the big thing. He's very underdeveloped as a pass rusher. I think he has the lowest pass rush win rate among my top 17. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of nuts, kind of wild. Okay, that's not fair. He's the second lowest, so among my top 16. But I think there's the makings of a good pass rusher, very good athlete. So Aleem McNeil, I liked a lot. Thought he had a very, very safe floor, but there was ceiling there. I think I had a second round grade on him as well. And man, look at him now. Dude's a monster. So Williams, I got a bit of a soft spot for Williams. If he sneaks into the first round, I would be A-okay with it. At number 4, it's Derrick Harmon out of Oregon. He's 6'5", 322 pounds. Currently 24th on my big board, and I struggle with him either being my 3rd or 4th top tackle in this class. I don't think I'm going to move or switch those guys between here and now, but you never know, man. You never know. I really like Derrick Harmon. I like him quite a bit. He was formerly a 3-star recruit out of the 2021 recruiting class. Started his career at Michigan, where he redshirted and then instantly kind of became a starter in 2023 after being a big part of the rotation in 2022. Ended up transferring, and he, for the most part, he was known as one of the better run defenders in college football. Makes the move to Oregon, cleans up his frame, and he's still in the process of cleaning up that frame, getting rid of some of the bad weight. But golly, did he turn into oh no, my pass rush game, it's going to be lit. And it was. A 17.6 pass rush win rate is just utterly nuts. 55 pressures, 5 sacks. He's got impressive size and just flexibility. He's pretty quick on his feet. Ran that 4.95 40, very fast for a defensive interior player. Huge motor, just huge. Very smooth mover as well. And honestly, the toolbox is he's got a good toolbox of pass rush moves. The run integrity is typically pretty good. I wish he could be a better finisher in the backfield. Very inconsistent. 26.7% missed tackle rate. There are many plays where I'm like, man, you were there, you just didn't finish it. I remember the Boise State game. He was coming in to make a tackle where Genty already had 2 players on him. He came in and took everyone down but Genty, which led to Genty like having a 40-yard run. It was kind of nuts. He had one in the second Ohio State game where I don't remember if it was Henderson or Judkins, but he was just outside of swiping that player down. Got out there, thought maybe he jetted too much, which made him take a less than desirable angle to be able to get to the outside and make a play on the running back, but he was so close to pulling him down. I want to see him finish some of those plays. It just wasn't that consistent this past season. He is a bit tall, so he's going to struggle to stay and remain low. The get off was so much better this season. Would I say he has a crazy first step? No, but I think it's an above average first step. I think it's pretty darn solid. I'm a big fan of this cat's game. Leonard Williams is the comp. I think he could probably wear a lot of hats on the defensive line, but if you want to get him as like a 3-4 end type or someone that can play 3-tech, 4-tech, like you can do that. Then at number 3, it's Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, 6'3", 331 pounds. Currently 21st on my big board again. I struggle with him or Derrick Harmon at this 3 spot. Both are really good though. Both are really good. So Grant was a former 4-star recruit out of the 2022 recruiting class, played offensive guard and defensive line. He was LA Times High School Football Player of the Year. He returned a fumble 50 yards for a touchdown, blocked 8 kicks his senior year. That's nuts. He also did track and field and put up a shot put that ranks in the top 10 in school history. Nice. Goes to Michigan, was essentially a reserve his freshman season, but then he had 5 starts, was heavily utilized in the rotation, was a second team All Big Ten. And then this past season, started 12 games, made second team All Big Ten. Once again, opted out of the bowl game. Didn't matter much though. He was phenomenal. He had a slow start to the season, but finished it really, really strong, with it kind of being capped off with just a phenomenal game against Ohio State in a win. He is big, but he can move. Like at 331, he ran 513, or he ran 5.13 40. Feels like it could have been faster because we've seen him run down the field and make plays down the field. It's kind of nuts. We had one in 2023 against, I think, wasn't it Fat Man? I think it was our boy Fat Man from Penn State. Caught up behind him and was able to bring him down. It was like 20 or 30 yards down the field. He had another one where it was a fumble. He picked it up against USC. And the only one that was going to catch him was Woody Marks, who runs a 4.25. Caught him. And I think forced a fumble. But Grant's a playmaker. He can make plays like that. He's also stupid strong, has good pop in his hands, very active with his hands as well. Keeps his head up to look into the backfield, uses good, for the most part, good arm extension to be able to find and locate ball carriers and then read and react. Surprisingly flexible at that size. However, does need to continue to develop counters when his initial move does get stonewalled. Will give up leverage a little bit too quickly. And I feel like his anchor against double teams could be a bit better. He's able to eat it. He will concede a little bit of ground, but I want to see him be able to hold his own a little bit better than that. Dalvin Tomlinson, I feel like that's everybody's comp for him. It's a good comp. At number 2, it's Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. He's 6'3", 300 pounds, currently 12th on my big board. One of the younger players in this defensive tackle class. He's currently 21. Absolutely love this cat. Just love him. He's a my guy. He's been a my guy for quite some time. Former 5-star recruit out of the 2022 recruiting class. Started his career at Texas A&M. Eventually transferred after the 2023 season. Goes to Ole Miss. First team All-SEC. Utterly had a phenomenal year, along with the rest of that defensive line for Ole Miss, which was exceptionally good. To me, sky's the limit. He is very well built. He's got a good combination of speed and power. Very explosive, but also very violent. Violent hands. Very strong. If he does get stonewalled, he does typically try to rely on that strength to break free. So I would maybe like to see a little bit more nuanced as a pass rusher. But still, he plays with a lot of fight. He's got alignment versatility. I think you could really plug him in a plethora of spots, but I really like him as a penetrating 3-tech. He's got a big motor, plays with the same energy every snap from the beginning of the first quarter to the end of the fourth. I think he's just young and got stamina. I remember the days. When it comes to some of the stuff that maybe is a little less than desirable, I put contact balance, ends up on the ground too much, maybe plays a bit out of control. If you go back to his 2023 tape, I thought a lot of it was maybe just bad luck. There was a play where he was tripped up, a play where he was shoved, where he stepped on the blocker's foot and slipped. Just constantly found himself on the dirt. That seemed to be true, not just this past season, but also at the Senior Bowl, but with less excuses. So if he could just play a little bit more under controlled, that would be nice. Occasionally, he does leave his chest open for defenders or blockers to get in and just sink their grip. So I would like to see him be able to retaliate a little bit better, maybe see a little bit more hand swiping. But I mean, that just goes in line with, okay, unpolished when it comes to his pass rush moves. Would like to see him add a little bit more counters. So again, a work in development, but I think it's trending in the right direction. He took the appropriate step up this past season. I utterly love him. I have John Franklin Myers down as a comp just because of the versatility and the type of athlete that I think he is. Let me know in the comment section if you got a better comp. And then at number 1, you already knew it. It's Mason Graham out of Michigan. He's 6'3", 306 pounds, currently 3rd overall on my big board. Former 4-star recruit from the 2022 recruiting class, played offensive tackle and defensive line in high school. He also wrestled and was a 2-time Trinity League heavyweight champion. Hell yeah. Did get 2 starts his freshman season. Was the full-time starter in 2023, first team, all Big Ten. Full-time starter in 2024, first team, all Big Ten. He did have surgery on his shoulder after the season. Didn't seem to be serious, so he should be A-okay. His ability to penetrate is insane. He is a spark plug. He is a twitched up athlete. One of the scariest, just fastest spin moves in this class. Very light footed, but also plays with leverage and plays with pop. He has got some strong hands. So not only is he attacking you with good leverage, but he's also beating the hell out of you like a brick through a windshield of a car. Just, it's nasty. It hurts. He's got a little versatility to him. I know people were freaking out when he came in at sub 300 pounds at the combine. Don't know what that was. Maybe he was sick, but he was back up to 306. Could play around the A gap. Prefer him more as like a 3 tech. Maybe you kick him outside just because he's got athleticism like that. So let's make the best use of it. Big motor, relentless, very sure tackler. When he gets to the backfield, he is going to finish plays. However, he does have average size, limited length, 32-inch arm, so it's not like all sunshine and rainbows. It's got lower percentile hand size as well. So there's that. Does need to continue to add to his pass rush moves. Just add in some secondary and counter moves would be nice. I would like to see him do a better job in run defense of getting arm extension so he can read and react, but more times than not, he's popping up in the backfield really, really quickly anyway, so it kind of is what it is. Christian Wilkins, fins up, baby, fins up is the shades of here. Big Dolphins fan, what can I say? But let's go ahead. Let's get to some of the very productive as a pass rusher, 34 pressures, 8 sacks, 14.3% missed tackle rate. Big fan of his. Let's talk more South Carolina. Tonka Hemingway, not getting talked about enough. Not as athletic as his teammate TJ Sanders, but not far off. I do think he struggles a bit more against the run, so maybe more of a DPR player in the NFL, which is designated pass rush only. But I do like him quite a bit. Maybe people ask me about Aeneas Peoples, but I just see a DPR interior. I get it. He's stout but undersized. I don't think he's going to play the run exceptionally well. He's just not my cup of tea. I don't know what to tell you. Let me give you a deep sleeper, though. Okay, didn't test well. Didn't test terribly. I really like Omari Thomas's tape out of Tennessee. I really do. I have him as a late day 3 pick. I think most places have him as a UDFA. It's fine, but he's got good movement skills. He has alignment versatility. He tested out well enough. I mean, it was almost a sub 5-second 40, which is good for defensive interiors. I do wish some of his other numbers were better, but it's fine. There are times where he can play upright, but I hear he's a very high character individual. Team captain, has been praised by the coaching staff for his leadership, has a large resume of volunteer work. Just sounds like a great guy, phenomenal guy. Does need to continue to develop his pass rush moves. Can just be like, he plays with active hands, but there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no real game plan to his pass rush moves. No purpose, I suppose is the best word there. But there's my sleeper. But let me know who are some of your favorite interior players in this class. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.